Welcome back. Sacrifice. It's a powerful word, and no one knows the meaning of this word better than the brave men and women who voluntarily put themselves in harm's way to defend our country. This sacrifice becomes even greater when many of these service members return home with severe injuries, both physical and emotional. Today, we learn how one animal health company is helping these individuals recover and return to civilian life in a very unique way. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Brian Baxter has more.
The heroes that we represent are everywhere. They're in every community in America, and it's what makes them heroic. These warriors and these caregivers isn't that they do some enormous physical feat. It's that they get up each day and they approach life with a positive attitude.
These heroes are the men and women who serve in the armed forces to protect our freedom. Unfortunately, far too many return home with injuries that change their lives forever. A nonprofit organization called Wounded Warrior Project provides the support these service members need to start the healing process.
Our mission is to honor and empower wounded warriors, which is succinct and it's simple in word, but it's very complex indeed to accomplish. We're offering a wide range of programs that will not only help the warriors, they'll help their families, their caregivers, and their children.
The program started in 2003 when a group of veterans had the idea to provide wounded warriors backpacks filled with basic necessities. These backpacks included items like t-shirts, socks, and shampoo. One member of the founding group, Steve Nardizzi, remembers the moment they first got the idea.
We were watching the first wounded warriors come home, and we had a vision for what it would mean to successfully transition those warriors back to civilian life. We had a pretty audacious goal at that time, which was to make this the most successful and well-adjusted generation of wounded warriors in the nation's history. And I can tell you it was an audacious goal because at that time there were very few of us.
Our founders actually begged their way into Walter Reed, and they went bedside to bedside, and they shook hands with the warriors, and they said, "I've been in this hospital bed. I can relate to what you're going through. Give me a call." And they also said the same thing to the family members. "My family's been through what you're about to go through. We can help." And sure enough, the phone started ringing, and it wasn't just the warriors, it was the spouses, and it was the hospital saying, "We need 50 more backpacks."
Since then, the organization has grown at a rapid pace. There are now 6 different offices around the country and over a dozen programs to help meet the various needs of wounded warriors in 4 areas: mind, body, economic empowerment, and engagement.
We will help a warrior with a job placement, but we'll also help them with their education. We'll also address the factors that might lead to them not being successful in the job we place them. So if they're having PTSD, we'll help them with that so that they can deal with some of the emotional stress that was caused by their experience in combat. If their VA benefits for some reason they're having trouble getting the full benefits that they deserve, we have counselors that can help them. And we found that this holistic approach really helps a warrior rehabilitate more quickly and more successfully.
They've changed the way injured service members feel about themselves. The Wounded Warrior Project is amazing at getting them back to a new normal.
Justin Lightcap is one service member who benefited from the Warriors to Work program.
I was having difficulty taking my experience in the Marines and putting it on paper for a civilian company because now I'm a civilian and I need to find a job. I knew the leadership qualities that I had while serving would benefit a business, a corporation, but I didn't know how to put that on paper. They put all the skills that I had on paper, and as soon as I put that resume out, immediately opportunities started coming my way.
Justin was so grateful for the help WWP provided to him that when he saw a job opening there, he jumped on it. Justin is now the manager for a popular program called Soldier Ride, which takes wounded warriors on a bike tour.
It's a big challenge what we're asking them to do because they might have just, been wounded very recently, and now we're telling them, well, you're going to get on a bicycle and ride 25 miles, and we're going to do it for 3 days. They're looking at themselves and they're down and they're saying, how is that even possible? That's good for them because these guys have always had an active lifestyle, and getting them back out, almost getting them back in the saddle is really, really beneficial to them.
From Soldier Ride to Project Odyssey, a program which provides service members a safe place to share their stories during an outdoor rehabilitative retreat, WWP is getting ready to launch a special initiative this fall called Believe in Heroes, just in time for Veterans Day.
Very few people realize that Veterans Day is on November 11th each year, because on the 11th hour, or the 11th day of the 11th month, was when the ceasefire was signed for World War I. And that was the war to end all wars. And so that moment in time was really significant. It was this time that was going to symbolize world peace. And because of that, we decided as a country to hold Veterans Day on November 11th each year.
WWP staff hopes this program will help put the veteran back in Veterans Day.
We want people to register to host an event in their house on 11/11/11. They can simply purchase a party in a box. We give you everything. We give you your napkins, your plates, your chip holder, and a script that talks about the significance of Veterans Day. A success for the Believe in Heroes program is that more people in America than not have heard of the campaign, and they've taken action on Veterans Day. The campaign will feature a apparel line that will be available in every major sporting goods store in the country. Will be in every grocery store that you can think of this year to drive awareness.
We're a nation still at war. And for us, it's impossible to forget that, because we deal day in and day out with those men and women who sacrifice themselves for our freedom, who come back wounded and need our support. But for many Americans, it's all too easy to forget.
These men and women made a huge sacrifice in joining the service during a time of war. And we as a nation have an obligation not to forget about them when they return and they're injured.
Welcome back. Let's return to Jacksonville, Florida, where reporter Brian Baxter is learning more about how one beef industry leader is supporting American troops.
Wounded Warrior Project is doing everything possible to make sure Americans don't forget. The WWP office includes a sacrifice center with personal success stories of many warriors, and now there's one very special item to add to their collection.
We're really blessed that as part of the new sacrifice, we'll have a piece of steel that was a part of the World Trade Center on 9/11. The piece of steel is really an important symbol. When you think of the warrior population, so many of these guys signed up following 9/11. They saw the horrific attacks and they raised their hand and volunteered to go fight.
In many ways, the Wounded Warrior Project, the seed for it was planted on that day, on that tragic day of September 11th, when so many Americans lost their lives. Many of our warriors, when you talk to them, volunteered to serve after 9/11 because they decided that they wanted to defend our nation, defend us from those events ever happening again.
100% of the programs the Wounded Warrior Project offers are funded by private donations and corporate sponsorships.
The biggest thing that's enabling the growth of the organization is donors stepping up and volunteering their funds. Even though we are in a tough spot economically, people are still willing to support our troops that are coming back wounded.
We have an expression at Wounded Warrior Project that says the greatest casualty is being forgotten. And our corporate partners are instrumental in making sure that that doesn't happen, making sure that people do not forget about this generation of wounded warriors.
Along with sponsors like Under Armour and the NFL, beef cattle producers are also contributing to Wounded Warrior Project every time they purchase a bottle of Cydectin.
Boehringer Ingelheim Vetmedica Incorporated and Cydectin is absolutely our most unique partnership. And it's unique in that it's a product that you wouldn't necessarily think that we would co-brand with. We're able to reach a population in America that we might not be able to reach with traditional methods. And that has an enormous impact on our organization and helps make this nonprofit sustainable for years to come.
Jonathan is determined to do just that, ensure that Wounded Warrior Project will be around long into the future to help meet the needs of soldiers and their families. And until every single person is taken care of, Jonathan says his work is never done.
On my computer, I keep the name of Jeffrey Lucy. Jeffrey is a Marine I never met. He was a 23-year-old who came back from Iraq, and his family immediately noticed that there were some really significant changes that were going on with him. He had mood swings. He couldn't sleep. He just couldn't seem to relate to people the way that he used to relate. Jeffrey was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, just like the 320,000 service members who we estimate have that. One night, Jeffrey walked into his living room, and he walked up to his dad, and he said, "Dad, can I sit in your lap, and can you hold me?" And so here's this 23-year-old Marine who's sitting in his dad's lap, and his dad's rocking him like a child. That was Jeffrey's last opportunity to find a safe place. Unfortunately, the next day, Jeffrey had killed himself. And so when I go to bed at night, I am proud of the things that I've accomplished, but in the back of my mind is we got so much more to do.
The story of Jeffrey Lucy is what drives Jonathan to make sure WWP and the support they provide wounded warriors continues to expand.
There's so many warriors out there that are still being injured today that we don't even know how big this population is going to be 5 years from now. And that's really when the real work is going to start for us. When the bullets and the bombs stop flying, these warriors are going to need us more than ever because these injuries last a lifetime.
Reporting from Wounded Warrior Project headquarters in Jacksonville, Florida, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
To learn more about the programs available or how you can contribute to the Wounded Warrior Project, please visit CydectinHonorsTroops.com. For more information on Cydectin and other products offered by Boehringer Ingelheim Vet Medic Incorporated, visit cattlemantocattleman.org. And we'll be right back.